when a little boy hovered near his desk, refusing to let the back of his legs touch a chair, a watchful school janitor almost dismissed it as just another quirk of a restless kid. But when he noticed the slight tremor in the boy's legs, one chilling detail changed everything, hinting at secret bruises hidden beneath oversized clothes. Before we dive into this tense and deeply emotional story of a quiet janitor who saw through the cracks of a broken foster system, let us know where you're watching from, and if you believe a single adult's determination can turn fear into safety. Please like this video and subscribe for more stories that prove empathy can change a life forever. For 15 winters and summers, Ellis Morgan had walked the corridors of Pine Grove Elementary, a humble institution nestled at the fringe of a residential district known for its manicured gardens and cheerful faculty. He was the sort of custodian most individuals forgot moments after passing him in the hallway. Faculty members would offer brief greetings, occasionally addressing him as Mr., if they bothered acknowledging him at all. Students hurried past, typically too engrossed in chattering friends or urgent restroom visits to notice the man guiding a mop across the floor. He appreciated that invisibility. It allowed him to observe without the burden of forced conversation. He once quipped to himself that if the school building were a theater, he operated as the backstage crew, vital to operations, yet never receiving applause. His daily routine began at first light, arriving before virtually everyone else, unlocking entrances, inspecting the heating system, and activating hallway illumination so corridors cast a soft glow as instructors gradually entered. Through years of service, he developed an intuition for anticipating daily mishaps. A malfunctioning faucet in the Creativity Center, a stuck locker beside the dining hall, a dead light in the laboratory. He took pride in his meticulousness. He knew precisely where replacement fixtures were stored, which hinges required additional lubrication, and which floor sections scuffed most easily when children dragged furniture. He also recognized which teachers arrived early, hastening to prepare lessons, and which pupils wandered halls first, perhaps because they found greater comfort near adults who didn't demand mathematical solutions or public reading. He habitually kept private observations about these youngsters, the ones appearing somewhat adrift or solitary. Though few realized his attentiveness, he never intruded. He considered his responsibility maintaining the facility, but quietly, personally, he followed a principle. Remain vigilant, be present, and should he ever perceive a child genuinely needing assistance, he would offer whatever help possible. Throughout his tenure, he had discreetly intervened in minor ways, recovering a misplaced coat for a shy child reluctant to approach lost and found, placing extra tissues near easily tearful students, or finding appropriate staff to handle disputes overheard in passageways. Nothing significant, merely small gestures, likely unnoticed by others, but it gave Ellis a sense that his contribution exceeded merely polishing floors and securing classrooms nightly. During those 15 years, he had encountered various unusual behaviors. Children were complex little humans, some boisterous, others painfully withdrawn, some acting out when hungry or exhausted, and others carrying sorrows or burdens beyond their articulation. But he had never encountered anyone quite like Tyler Bennett. From initial observation, Tyler caught his attention for one straightforward reason. The child wouldn't sit. Ever. Not in the cafeteria, not during circle time, not even at his designated desk. He lingered near room perimeters, hugging walls as though attempting to dissolve into them. At quick glance, it resembled peculiar restlessness. But Ellis, having observed countless fidgety children through years, sensed something deeper, a quiet tension suggesting more significant troubles. Tyler was diminutive, approximately 8 or 9, with a tousled crown of dark hair occasionally falling across his vision. His clothing appeared either second-hand or ill-fitted, trousers slightly short at ankles, shirts hanging awkwardly. He typically crossed arms tightly against chest or folded them behind back, as if shielding himself from invisible strikes. During rare moments when Ellis glimpsed his face directly, he noticed the child's eyes carried a haunted, vigilant expression, as though anticipating reprimand or worse consequences momentarily. In Ellis's earliest recollections, Tyler remained in cafeteria corners, leaning against tables rather than sitting. He positioned himself behind classmates in queues, avoiding direct visual contact. Whenever instructors requested Tyler sit, the boy would whisper something about facing consequences for sitting too long. That statement perplexed Ellis. Who would punish a child for sitting? Teachers might encourage movement indeed, but equally common was instruction for hyperactive children to remain still. Tyler's words suggested contrary circumstances, as though external rules prohibited sitting. Ellis's curiosity intensified, but experience taught him pressing too forcefully might frighten an already anxious child, so he observed quietly. During outdoor recreation, Tyler often lingered near fencing, arms wrapped protectively, glancing nervously at approaching adults. In classrooms during group activities or storytelling, he positioned himself laterally, shifting weight between feet. His teacher, Ms. Fleming, appeared weary of encouragement attempts. Ellis once overheard her confiding to an assistant that Tyler had been flagged for potential oppositional defiance disorder. She explained, "His anxiety presents as defiance. He refuses standard activities. Documentation remains our priority." Ellis stored that phrase internally. Document everything. He contemplated how many notations populated Tyler's file and how many professionals had dismissed his tension as mere misbehavior. One Monday daybreak, barely weeks into the fresh semester, Ellis found himself outside room 14, where Ms. Fleming taught. Weekend activities had left hallways messy with spilled yogurt and chalk residue from older students. He had positioned caution signage and begun addressing sticky patches underfoot. Children arrived individually, depositing coats and backpacks in cubbies before entering the classroom. That's when he noticed Tyler standing perfectly motionless near his storage space, backpack dangling from one shoulder. His legs seemed to quiver, as though supporting greater weight than his small frame. Other students ignored him, actively conversing or searching for supplies. But Ellis observed the subtle trembling and felt immediate concern. Carefully, he pushed cleaning equipment aside and approached. He ensured his tone remained gentle, speaking softly. "Hey there," he said quietly, attempting to convey warmth without intrusion. "Everything all right?" Tyler's gaze flickered upward momentarily. The child released an unsteady breath, mumbling something barely audible, forcing Ellis closer to hear. "Sitting too long," Tyler whispered, "makes bruises return." Ellis froze, feeling cold apprehension descend his spine. That statement reflected no ordinary childhood concern. Bruises. He prepared to inquire further, but before possible, Tyler jerked away, gripping the cubby shelf, then disappeared into the classroom as Ms. Fleming summoned everyone to gather. Ellis remained stationary, mop handle in grasp, experiencing waves of alarm. Something in the child's tone and mention of bruises indicated this surpassed typical playground injuries. That evening, in his worn notepad reserved for personal observations, his security log, as he termed it, Ellis recorded Tyler's behavior. He documented trembling legs, bruised references, and fearful demeanor. Through experience, he'd learned against relying solely on memory. Though not a mandated reporter like educators and counselors, He believed in recording anything potentially benefiting a child's welfare. The following day, he discreetly questioned the school nurse about Tyler's records. She shook her head resignedly, explaining a neglect concern had been filed weeks earlier, but promptly dismissed as behavioral manipulation according to guardian statements. The nurse grimaced. "The system fails repeatedly," she muttered. "We reported concerns, but nothing resulted." A specific name emerged from her brief notation. The foster guardian, Raymond Parker, a former athletic coach without criminal history, had apparently accepted Tyler following a brief placement elsewhere. Immediately, Ellis's suspicions deepened. He'd encountered various foster arrangements, some excellent, others seemingly less nurturing. The possibility that a child might endure a caretaker causing or permitting bruises sickened him. Yet he possessed no concrete evidence, merely Tyler's fragment about bruises and the nurse's note regarding a dismissed concern. Ellis resolved to maintain closer surveillance. 2 days later, Ellis cleaned the boys' lavatory during mid-morning lull, typically quiet hours. Classes in session and few children requesting hall passes unless unwell. He performed routine maintenance, scrubbing sinks, emptying refuse, humming quietly. Suddenly, a dull impact sound emanated from a stall. He paused, listening. A muffled noise followed, resembling a suppressed gasp. Alarmed, he approached the distant stall, noticing small sneakers visible beneath the door, motionless. He knocked gently. "Everything okay?" No response. Pushing the unlocked door, he discovered Tyler kneeling upon tile flooring, arms encircling stomach. The boy's head remained lowered. Ellis's eyes widened, seeing the child's shirt back stained with small blood spots, suggesting fresh wounds or reopened cuts. Horror surged through Ellis's body. He immediately crouched, striving to speak calmly. "What happened, buddy? Are you hurt?" Tyler merely shivered, breath hitching. After tense moments, he spoke through trembling whispers. "Sitting continuously means laziness," he continued. "Lazy children receive the bench." Confusion swirled through Ellis's mind. "Bench? What meaning, Tyler?" The boy nodded, tears forming. "A wooden bench awaits at home. Moving excessively leaves marks." He swallowed, suppressing sobs. "He struck me for improper posture." Ellis experienced cold fury internally, but maintained exterior calm for the child's benefit. He gently assisted Tyler upright, avoiding tender areas. The boy winced, but allowed Ellis to guide him toward sinks. "We'll address your injuries," Ellis assured soothingly. "This requires reporting." Tyler's eyes flashed with panic. "No, he'll discover," he stammered fearfully. Ellis placed a reassuring hand near the boy's shoulder, avoiding contact. "His treatment is unacceptable. We'll ensure your safety." The fear in Tyler's expression broke Ellis's heart. That afternoon, Ellis drafted detailed incident documentation describing Tyler's injuries, references to enforced standing, mentions of a bench leaving marks. He attached a discreet photograph showing bloodstains on Tyler's shirt. Though reluctant photographing distress, he believed it might constitute the only tangible evidence available. Then he presented these materials to school administration. Though not faculty, he hoped they'd recognize the situation's severity. The assistant principal, Mrs. Henderson, reviewed his statement with concerned expression. She promised forwarding it to district child welfare representatives. Ellis departed her office anxious but marginally hopeful. Documentation existed at minimum. No immediate action materialized. On the third day, Mrs. Henderson intercepted him to deliver official response. No visible injuries observed during a home visitation. Child denies fear. Guardian demonstrates cooperation. No further action recommended. These words infuriated Ellis. He demanded explanation regarding no visible injuries given the blood-stained garment. Mrs. Henderson shrugged helplessly. Claims suggested older staining. The child apparently reported falling during play. No direct abuse evidence existed, and the guardian lacked violence history. The subtext appeared painfully evident. Bureaucracy accepted guardian testimony over a child's or custodian's account. That evening, Ellis sat within his modest apartment, reviewing notes, rereading entries about the bench and bruises. He recalled the nurse's earlier concerns similarly dismissed. It seemed reports were buried before gaining traction. Though furious, he remained uncertain regarding next steps. While not a mandated reporter and official channels having failed, he couldn't abandon the matter. He remembered Tyler trembling in that bathroom stall, the quiet terror permeating his voice. Ellis decided if systems wouldn't investigate deeper, perhaps he needed gathering additional evidence impossible to disregard. He formulated strategy. The school featured an entrance zone where guardians collected and delivered children daily. A supply closet near the building entrance, typically storing cleaning solutions and waste receptacles, offered opportunity. Through that closet's narrow window, one could observe vehicles lining the curb. Ellis considered installing a discreet motion-activated camera in that window, potentially capturing glimpses of Tyler's treatment during drop-off. Though risky and possibly unauthorized, he reasoned a child's potential harm superseded privacy concerns. The following morning, he installed a compact camera, similar to devices previously used for his former residence's security. He positioned it, capturing curbside areas near the pickup drop-only signage. He shared this with nobody, including the nurse. Days passed without revealing footage. Tyler continued arriving bearing identical anxious expressions and rigid posture. He seldom spoke with the man delivering him, a tall figure with broad shoulders, presumably Raymond. Ellis examined recordings nightly, but primarily observed Tyler exiting vehicles, then rapidly traversing walkways. No visible altercations appeared. He worried abuse perhaps occurred privately at home. Then, nearly 1 week after camera installation, evidence materialized. Early morning, skies still bearing dawn streaks, Raymond's vehicle arrived. Camera timestamp indicated 7:11 a.m. Tyler emerged slowly, movement suggesting pain. Then the tall man lunged forward, yanking Tyler's backpack from shoulders. The force jerked the boy's head backward. Ellis watched horrified as Raymond delivered a sharp slap against Tyler's head, causing staggering. Though not visible from every angle, the camera captured sufficient evidence. Tyler appeared dazed, stepping forward unsteadily. Raymond thrust the backpack against him. Though the man's face remained partially averted from the lens, aggression appeared unmistakable. Tyler and Raymond exchanged words. Though lacking audio, the child's expression reflected terror. The confrontation lasted mere seconds, but confirmed physical abuse occurred. Ellis's heart raced reviewing the recording. Here existed definitive proof that injuries weren't imaginary. He transferred files to portable storage, ensuring backups. He considered submitting it through school channels again, but feared additional cover-ups or bureaucratic delays. He recalled the nurse's comment regarding systemic failures. He needed someone guaranteeing immediate action. He considered his cousin Vanessa. Though not law enforcement, she served as dedicated juvenile court advocate in neighboring jurisdictions. She understood child protection statutes better than anyone in his acquaintance. That evening, he drove 60 minutes to meet her, avoiding electronic transmission risks. He described everything: Tyler's bruises, suspicious dismissal of previous reports, school interventions. Vanessa listened, jaw tightened, angry tears forming. She accepted the evidence, promising sharing with trusted child protective services contacts. "We'll prevent dismissal," she assured firmly. Ellis experienced tremendous relief. An independent advocate would demand investigation. He departed feeling greater optimism than recent weeks permitted. Neither fully recognized how extensive Raymond's protective network reached. Vanessa's contact discovered Raymond's brother-in-law operated within regional intake offices. He had apparently marked previous complaints regarding Raymond's foster placements as unsubstantiated, enabling rapid closure. 3 additional children had passed through Raymond's care within 5 previous years, each ultimately labeled defiant or manipulative, then transferred to alternative foster arrangements, citing non-compliance. None triggered official investigations because injuries or negative behavioral reports were attributed to the children themselves. Ellis felt physically ill learning this repeated pattern. Organized blindness ensured nobody examined Raymond's methods thoroughly, but Ellis's captured footage provided undeniable evidence. Even if the brother-in-law attempted suppressing complaints, video existed as stark visual confirmation. Under pressure from Vanessa's associates and internal audits, authorities finally responded. Within 72 hours, new caseworkers were assigned. Police officers accompanied them to Raymond's residence for comprehensive inspection. This investigation accepted no superficial excuses or hasty denials. Tyler left that residence the same day, his expression mixing relief with terror as he entered caseworker vehicles. Ellis wished, offering reassurance personally, but lacking direct involvement, he could merely await news. The following morning, removal information circulated through Pine Grove Elementary. Faculty whispers reached Ellis. Tyler had escaped that environment. However, additional complications arose. The foster system suffered overcrowding. No placement openings existed locally. Tyler's file labels, defiant, manipulative, behavioral concerns, discouraged prospective foster families. Many system children faced similar challenges, particularly older ones with aggression or anxiety notations. Ellis experienced profound frustration. The system had permitted suffering and now, even during rescue, abandoned him to uncertainty. Ellis contemplated an idea simultaneously outrageous and inevitable, applying as Tyler's foster caretaker himself. Single, earning modest income, occupying a small one-bedroom apartment, he had never considered fostering children. Yet the boy had connected with him, trusting him during that bathroom encounter. Ellis felt responsible, as though fate had positioned him in Tyler's path precisely for this purpose. After extensive contemplation, he approached caseworkers, tentatively offering his home if preventing placement in potentially harmful environments. Initial surprise greeted his proposal. He acknowledged lacking foster experience, but emphasized stable employment, references, and clean background checks. He had accumulated savings through years. The caseworker didn't immediately reject him, perhaps recognizing sincerity. She explained processes requiring emergency approval, background verification, and residence inspection. But given placement shortages, possibilities existed. During subsequent days, Ellis navigated extensive paperwork, interviews, and anxious waiting. He requested assistance from teaching colleagues who had always appreciated his calm presence. He asked the school nurse, providing character references. He thoroughly cleaned his apartment, purchasing second-hand furniture, converting living spaces into makeshift bedrooms. Though daunted by emotional responsibilities caring for traumatized children, whenever doubt surfaced, he recalled Tyler's trembling voice confessing about the bench leaving marks. Those memories strengthened resolve. Finally, late afternoon, caseworkers informed him emergency approval had succeeded, pending thorough future verification. They would deliver Tyler that evening. Ellis's heart pounded intensely. He experienced simultaneous relief, excitement, and apprehension. He had prepared modest dinner, searched for appealing tableware for children, and arranged fresh bedding. Yet doubts lingered. Could he adequately address emotional needs of obviously scarred children? Would Tyler trust him? Would effort suffice ensuring the child's safety? He lacked time dwelling on these questions. An unmarked sedan arrived outside his building near dusk. The caseworker emerged, followed by Tyler. Even beneath street lamp illumination, Ellis observed the child's pallor, his posture rigid with anxiety. Ellis stepped onto entrance platforms, projecting calmness. Tyler clutched worn backpacks. He remained silent until reaching Ellis's threshold. Then, as caseworkers lingered near vehicles providing space, Tyler faced Ellis and whispered tremulously, "May I truly stay? I fear punishment for sitting." Ellis felt tears threatening. "No punishment awaits," he assured gently, guiding Tyler inside. "Not here." Though wishing promising perfect futures, he recognized challenges ahead, addressing legal matters and childhood trauma. Nevertheless, immediate safety represented progress. The following morning, he accompanied Tyler to school, not as solitary custodian encountering trembling students, but as foster guardian. Staff observed, some expressing surprise, others offering quiet encouragement. No formal announcements occurred, merely hushed acknowledgement that Ellis had intervened during crisis. Tyler appeared uncertain regarding appropriate behavior, glancing toward Ellis confused, perhaps anticipating scolding never materializing. Practically, numerous complications emerged. Ellis adjusted work schedules, ensuring Tyler received supervision. The principal permitted flexibility, allowing earlier arrival, completing major maintenance, enabling oversight following school dismissal. Teachers, noting changes, demonstrated increased sympathy toward Tyler, some apologizing for previous defiance labeling. School bureaucracy advanced slowly. The significant victory remained Tyler no longer arriving bearing dreaded shoulder tension. Gradually, Ellis observed postural relaxation. Witnessing Tyler cautiously lowering himself onto cafeteria benches, though gingerly, produced unexpected joy. The boy glanced around expecting repercussions, but experienced none. Ellis realized how foreign simple sit-in concepts must have been under Raymond's dominion, yet abuse shadows didn't vanish overnight. Tyler occasionally startled awake from nightmares or froze when Ellis moved suddenly nearby. Administrative processes continued. Child protective cases proceeded, with Raymond facing potential assault charges, particularly following video evidence and reconsidered previous complaints. Controversies surrounding brother-in-law involvement loomed large. Rumors suggested further investigations might reveal widespread negligence throughout local foster systems. Ellis avoided dwelling on larger issues, concentrating instead on creating stable environments for Tyler. He prepared simple meals, demonstrated minor chores without punishment fears, and permitted evening entertainment following completed homework. Occasionally, they shared comfortable silence, entirely novel experiences for children previously dreading motionlessness at school. Staff formally dismissing Tyler as uncooperative began noticing subtle changes. He occasionally glanced upward when addressed, sometimes speaking brief sentences rather than whispered responses. His teacher, Ms. Fleming, informed Ellis that Tyler demonstrated greater willingness participating in classroom discussions, though still tensing when required remaining seated extensively. The nurse reported healing bruises without new injuries appearing. Ellis found quiet satisfaction through these progress indicators, though maintaining vigilance. Remembering how easily systems had previously overlooked concerns, he remained determined, preventing recurrence. One afternoon, Following final bells, Ellis collected maintenance equipment, addressing messy art rooms when discovering Tyler waiting in corridors. The child clutched papers bearing crayon illustrations. He hesitated, then extended them. Ellis accepted gently, uncertain what to expect. The drawing depicted tall benches colored blues and greens, lacking menacing features, potentially leaving marks. Beneath it, Tyler had written, "Safe bench, no hurting." Ellis blinked, experiencing throat constriction. He nodded slowly. "Thank you sharing this, friend. Would you explain further?" Tyler shrugged, downcast. "Benches shouldn't cause pain. They exist for sitting," he murmured. Ellis placed gentle hands on child's shoulders. "Absolutely correct. I'll prevent similar experiences." The boy nodded, displaying faint trust. That trust faced challenges days later, when news circulated that Raymond intended appealing Tyler's removal from custody. He claimed mental instability and fabricated accusations. Ellis prepared for potential legal conflicts, concerned that Raymond's credibility with certain officials might overshadow recent revelations. Fears that Tyler might forcibly return to dangerous environments nauseated Ellis. Vanessa assured evidence remained overwhelming, particularly head-slapping footage. She believed uncovered scandals regarding brother-in-law interference would discredit Raymond's claims. Nevertheless, bureaucracy operated unpredictably. Meanwhile, Ellis maintained quiet vigilance, balancing dual roles as custodian and foster provider. He viewed himself not as parental figure, but caretaker, positioned between Tyler and potential harm. Yet, paternal protectiveness developed within him. He visited second-hand stores seeking properly fitted clothing, ensuring adequate lunches packed daily. He escorted Tyler from vehicles each morning rather than permitting solitary navigation through drop-off zones. Staff, observing their arrival together, seemed touched, witnessing transformation. Whispers suggested Ellis exceeded expectations, testament to unassuming character that nobody previously suspected. Tyler gradually disclosed information. One evening, sharing modest dinners at Ellis's small table, Tyler described the bench explicitly. He explained Raymond employed it as punishment, forcing extended sitting, threatening increased lazy bruises following movement. Ellis felt his neck hairs rising. He inquired softly, "Did Raymond frequently treat you similarly?" Tyler nodded, tears tracking his cheeks. "He claimed it benefited me," the boy whispered. Ellis concealed clenched fists beneath tables, despising that children endured such cruelty. Subsequent days brought developments suggesting broader investigations. The brother-in-law received administrative leave pending internal review. Several former foster placement files reopened. The entire situation threatened becoming minor scandal, though overshadowed by regional headlines. These matters concerned Ellis less than ensuring Tyler avoiding systemic failures again. He prepared supporting the child through anything, including potential testimony describing injuries. Though public speaking created anxiety, he steeled himself accordingly. Daily operations at Pine Grove continued. Meanwhile, Ellis addressed plumbing issues, replaced lighting fixtures, and removed gymnasium floor marks. Teachers continued lessons. Children, including Tyler, navigated typical academic challenges, social dramas, misplaced lunches, examinations, and group presentations. The significant difference: Tyler now possessed stability through Ellis. Once, Ms. Fleming confided Tyler had voluntarily joined reading groups, actually sitting tableside. Movement remained frequent, she admitted, but participation occurred. That represents significant progress. Ellis experienced profound pride. However modest, achievement mattered. As weeks progressed, court case tensions escalated through Vanessa's updates. Ellis learned Raymond intensified defenses, insisting video misrepresentation, describing physical contact as playful tapping, and characterizing Tyler as habitual fabricator. However, newly assigned caseworkers and juvenile advocates remained determined, demonstrating abuse patterns. They possessed former statements from previous foster children, once suppressed but now retrieved. Ellis hoped judges would recognize deceptions. Through Raymond's facade, he worried for Tyler's emotional well-being. The boy occasionally asked whether that man might return claiming him. Ellis provided reassurance, though questions troubled both. The decisive moment arrived Wednesday following Ellis's management of significant cafeteria water spillage. Entering administrative offices, he found Mrs. Henderson signaling him. She displayed relieved expressions. "Case closure achieved," she stated quietly. "Raymond's appeal failed, charges formalized. Tyler remains here permanently." Ellis briefly closed eyes, exhaling deeply. Overwhelming relief flooded him. He envisioned Tyler's anxious features and haunting bench specter. Now, healing could proceed without looming threats. Mrs. Henderson clasped Ellis's shoulder. "Appreciation deserved," she murmured. "You exceeded expectations." The day's remainder felt surreal. Ellis encountered Tyler in hallways following classes, searching cubbies. Approaching quietly, heart filled with joy, he watched the boy glance upward wearily, then noticed Ellis's gentle smile. "I'm staying," Tyler whispered tearfully. Ellis nodded, swallowing emotion. He placed hands lightly against the boy's back, carefully avoiding startling him. "Correct," he confirmed. "We'll depart shortly. Perhaps tonight you might enjoy sitting comfortably watching television." A shaky, tentative smile crossed Tyler's features. Though speechless, his eyes communicated everything necessary. That evening, as Ellis secured school buildings and guided Tyler through front entrances, he felt months of anxiety lifting. He realized the child, once refusing sitting, had finally gained freedom, resting fearlessly. Hallway illumination dimmed behind them, glass doors reflecting Tyler's small outline beside the quiet custodian who had noticed what others missed. They walked together across darkening parking areas, side by side, unusual yet steadfast companions. Tyler paused near the vehicle, facing Ellis. The boy asked softly, "Could we watch movies tonight? I'll sit on the couch." Ellis's voice caught. "Yeah, bud," he said thickly. "We absolutely can." Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed the story, give this video a like if you haven't already, and subscribe for more.